So welcome to you all. So I'd like you to sit upright in a noble, dignified manner. Be aware of not holding tension in the abdomen. Of course, it requires some work of the abdomen, keeps you up. You know, the abdomen is used when we stand or we sit. So, but I want you to feel the abdomen in such a way that it's quiet, it's not gripped, it's not held. And then pronate the palms at the roots of the thighs or the top of the thighs and the pelvis meet, and give a good lift to your side walls of the chest. Bring the shoulder blades flat on the back. So imagine you were standing behind yourself, feeling the shoulder blades flat on the back, and keeping that top of the trapezius muscle, that very broad muscle that spans from here to here, moving down to the waist. And then just take time, which is always nice to do, interlace your hands firm at the webbing at the back of the head and spread the skin and then lengthen away from the trapezius so that the cervical spine is being elongated. And then return the hands lightly to the roots of the thighs and just contemplate sitting and knowing that you're sitting. Because this immediately brings us into the present moment. Sit and know that you're sitting. And as one of my favorite Dharma teachers likes to say, sit and know that you're sitting, and all of the world will be revealed to you. Sit like a mountain, sit with a sense of strength and dignity. Be steadfast, be majestic, be natural, and at ease in your awareness. See if you can move in close, becoming intimate with everything in your awareness. Not pushing it away, not attaching to it. This is the image of equanimity. And then if you care to, fold your palms in front of the center of the chest. May I be a boat, a raft, a bridge for all beings to cross the flood. May I be a resting place for the weary. May I be medicine for all who are sick. May I be a lamp in the darkness for those who are lost. And may I do so as long as earth and sky and galaxies exist, until all beings are enlightened. I vow to be here to serve them all. And when you're ready, you can gently release the palms, lift your chin, allow your eyes to open, and stretch out your legs. So we're actually going to do 3 supine, and Julia, this should be helpful for you, poses before we begin a more rigorous lesson. So we're going to start with what I'll call a decentralized Shavasana. You could lie with the bolster vertically. In fact, let's do that because we didn't do it on Tuesday. But I do want you to have a blanket so that you're able to put the blanket, where the fold is, right across your forehead skin. And in the same way that you spread the skin at the back of the cervical, put the heels of your hands, the wrists, spread the skin, and then pull slightly down toward the cheekbones. That will help not only relax your brain, but feel very soothing. Just the little weight of the blanket, in that blanket fold, spread the skin so the forehead skin is spreading, and then pull the skin down. Those of you who know Shanmukti Mudra, we often do it like this. It's the same action, right? So that the skin is moving from the scalp, where the forehead and the scalp meet, toward the bridge of the nose. Feels really good. And then have the legs apart so that they're decentralized. We'll use that position of the legs to relax your abdomen. And that's the part we're spending time with today. strengthening the abdominal muscles, all of them, all 6.
Ronnie, I'm not going to put the blanket. I'm so allergic. I can barely
Oh,
breathe.
yeah, they don't, no, don't do that then. Yeah, that's it. Sense the legs heavy. If you happen to have a bolster nearby, you can put it on the roots of the thighs. Oftentimes when the legs feel heavy, you can imagine sandbags or my hands there. That will create a sense of lightness in the abdomen. Note how that's good, Beth. So when that blanket is on your forehead, it's pulling those eyelids down. I mean, it's not really a pull, but it's a gentle drawing of the skin toward the cheekbones, has a really soothing and calming effect on your brain. This is also a way of doing Shavasana when someone has a headache or feels very agitated. And they could even put themselves near a wall where the crown of the head were touching like a baseboard. So again, we're doing this Shavasana, this wide Shavasana with this blanket shroud, so to speak, to decentralize. Arms are out to the side to bring that quality of the brain quiet and the abdomen quiet. And then I think because many of you are, I don't want you to get up to go flat. Now bring the soles of the feet together for a Supta Baddha Konasana in the same manner, pressing the feet and widening the thighs away. If you find that the groins feel in any way restricted, that could take the palms, which is always the quickest fix, versus getting blankets to support the outer thighs. So we're working today with, as I said, abdominal poses, but we're going to do groin work first. And different, some of the same on Tuesday that we did, some different, and then we'll go to some different abdominal poses. And just continue to relax, enjoy the breath. You might notice that the exhalation's a little bit longer. Than the inhalation. You need to use your hands to pull the blanket down toward the cheekbones and spread and pull down. That's fine. Sometimes the action itself is very calming to the nervous system. And then when you're ready, take the hands to the backs of the thighs, have the feet flat on the floor, come up. And we're going into Supta Virasana, which we didn't do on Tuesday, but it's a wonderful groin stretch. So many of you will use the same bolster or maybe another blanket or another bolster. And of course, it's good to sit. You can use the block to start in Virasana, which is always a good idea, and then recline back. So supine Virasana, Supta Virasana for the groins. If you need a belt, if your legs tend to splay out, then take the belt, but it's not, it's not required. But if the legs splay out, then do so. Yes, you can do an arm position, which is always good. And then gently go back. If it bothers anyone's knees, then do what we did. Just go back to the first one and do your straight leg. You could do the blocks like a straight leg Paryankasana, but just to make it easier, this one. Okay, good. Yeah, that's good for the pit of the knee. Supta Virasana, I like to teach at least, in the class, if not once a week, at least every other week, because it's a pose that gets challenging if you don't practice it once a week. That's good, Julia. Okay, and then go back. Remember to keep moving the buttock flesh. Don't let it hike up toward the waist. So the back ribs to move to the head side, and then extend the arms overhead, which we haven't done any arm work. Reach through the fingertips. And then hold your wrists, forearms, or upper arms. The one thing you will feel, you may not feel the abdomen as horizontally in Supta Virasana because it's a much more vertical geometry, but you do get that elongation of at the side walls of the navel and the side ribs, which is inherent in the geometry. So the abdomen should feel quite long now. Okay, now re-stretch the arms, Urdhva Hastasana. Keep the elbows firm, no elbows. A sharp extension through the fingernails. And then change the cross. Continue to elongate the side walls of the chest, the sides of the navel, as well as to the degree that you can spread. As I said, it's a little bit hard to feel a horizontal spreading of the abdomen in Supta Virasana because it's such a vertical shape. Good. It's always important to stretch the hip flexors before doing abdominal work. We did it the same on Tuesday for those of you who aren't here with us. Okay, now when you're ready, simply place the hands in the arches of the feet, lead with your chest, good Beth, and come out slowly. You can cross at the ankles or lean to one side, different ways to exit, and give your legs a good stretch, press this. So yeah, don't think of Dandasana as a throwaway pose, but use it really to press the legs. All right. Now, just one more thing before we unfold the legs in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Come into, everyone can do, because no one here has any knee issues, into child's pose and reach through your inner arms. So use Adho Mukha Virasana as we typically do, which is why we classically start with Adho Mukha Virasana for Adho Mukha Svanasana. So you're going to turn the inner upper arm from the inside out, outer form to inner form, and really press the heels of the hands down. Elaine, you can do that part. We're not spending too long in down dog, so don't worry about it. And Elaine, when we take down dog, you can just simply do Uttanasana and just start with bend to straight as we're going to do. So remember, spread your palms, spread your fingers. That's it, Beth, put them in the pit of the knee, draw the buttocks to the heels and reach forward with your arms. You can even use blocks underneath your hands. Sometimes that helps to turn the skin. Watch the trapezius skin. Don't let it fall on the neck. Move the trapezius away from the neck to the waist side. Okay, then Elaine, you can do Uttanasana. Beth, you were doing dog pose. Now, the way I want you to take dog pose today is this. You'll come up on the balls of the feet, right? And then we're going to work on how do we go from a bent leg Adho Mukha Svanasana to straight legs. Ask yourself, how do you straighten the legs in coming into Adho Mukha Svanasana? And then once you've unfolded the backs of the knees, and we didn't do this on Tuesday, try walking back, because what typically happens is when we come up into dog pose, one, the stance can be too short, and actually the bending of the legs, I should say the straightening of the legs, helps you walk back further and lengthen the spine. So when you're ready, start with bend to get the lift of the pelvis up, and now slowly find out what's the first thing that happens. You have to take the top of the thigh back, right above the knee back, the center of the shin back, and then you have to synchronize that with the arches reaching back to the heel. The heels may not come down, that's fine. And now suck the outer shins in, because most people's shins bow out. Now just walk back maybe a half inch, a quarter of an inch. Keep unfolding the legs in an attempt to have a longer spine. You can do the calf stretch, Elaine, or Uttanasana, and you can have your hands on blocks, which is the most, similar to Adho Mukha Svanasana. And I'm not saying Warrior 3 modified also is, but we're going to do that later. Okay, now, very well. That's really good, Beth. The distance between your feet and your hands is excellent. So remember that plumb line that I've been talking about from the hip. If you were to put a belt from the hip to the heels, that would be the same distance as the hips to the wrists, to the head, sorry, not to the wrist, to the head. Okay, and now walk your feet toward your hands. Excellent. All right, now everyone can do, and hopefully, Julia, this will feel fine for you. So we're doing Supta Padangusthasana 1, focusing on how does one unfold the legs in the same way. So first we'll do Dvipada, and then we'll do Ekapada, and then let me show, we'll start. So make sure when we come into it today, you're starting with the belt and the leg will be bent. Then I really want you to focus on how is it that you're going to straighten this leg, and I'll go through that in a moment. All right, so start in Dvipada, have a belt nearby. You know, the Supta cycle is such a utilitarian leg stretch. You know, it's like a Swiss Army jacket. It can be used for so many things. So, you know, it's wonderful and it doesn't take a lot of energy to do, but it's important that we keep it fresh and see it anew. So we're taking Dvipada first, then extend through the core of the left heel. Keep the right knee moving toward the right thigh toward your chest. Use the breath. Ideally, you will bring the thigh where the top of the thigh rests on the abdomen. Now keep the leg bent, put the strap across it. Keep the leg bent, slightly bent, so the shin is more perpendicular to the floor. Sole of the foot face, good, Mary Beth, facing upward. Okay, now see if you can articulate to yourself, or you know, in your own room, you can say it out loud. How do you straighten the leg to 90? All right. So you have, first, as you straighten the leg, you have to press the top of the knee back, the top of the thigh back, and extend. And this is happening very quickly and all together. Extend from the inner knee to the inner heel. And now use your hands to pull the strap down, because holding the belt helps, so that the heel is slightly higher than the toes. And now maintaining an unfolded right straight leg, keep moving the leg toward you in a smooth manner. As you move the leg toward you, don't let the outer right hip lift. So if you want to, hold the belt now with the left hand, put it on the corner of your outer right hip, press it back toward the wall so that the side ribs are even in length. That's it. Open the back of the knee. The knee wants to bend and we don't want to let it bend. Gail, right above the knee, right, like right that inner chip of the knee, so that right, slightly above that inner right knee, that's where it wants to bend. You'll notice that. And then you get kind of a divot in the back of the knee, which you can see perhaps on profile in your screen. Okay, move the leg, maintaining the outer right hip moving down, the side ribs even, and the left thigh pressing down. Remember, one can always do this with a traction belt, especially if the hip lifts up. Okay, now Dvipada for symmetry, and we'll do the same thing. So I want you to go slowly, take time, feel the difference in the two sides. What do you need to do to open or unfold the back of now your left knee? Extend through the core of your right heel. So it's good to stay in this manner. Look, this so there's oftentimes I've been in classes where they say this is like part one, this is part two, where the thigh is against the chest, the shin is perpendicular, and then stretch the leg. Okay, so think of it in those demarcations. Good. Yes. And then take the leg up. You might, of course, when you start with the shin perpendicular, for many of you will end up beyond 90. I have no problem with that. Our task at hand is to open, good gal, the back of the leg. So go layer by layer, inner upper knee back, thigh back. As you extend from the inner knee, that's really important, to the heel, then pull down on the strap so that the inner heel lifts, the toes move toward the chest, and begin to move the leg. Good, Val. Go carefully on this left side. Move the leg. Calf to shin, especially for those who hyperextend. In going further and further, Beth, especially if there's, the more you bring the leg to the chest, the more the tendency for the left hip will be to lift up and shorten the left side. Maintain the thumb and index finger there if you need to, or imagine you've all had the traction belt there. You have had that memory. Good. Observe the difference on the two sides. The knee will want to bend right above the inner left knee. Can you press it back? Especially many of you are facing the wall, which is excellent. So it's a triple action. Top of the thigh back, inner knee to inner heel, pull the strap down. Notice how the belt and your hands help you to straighten the leg. Okay, now Dvipada. And now obviously we're going to do it without the belt. So this is a way to feel and access your abdomen, and it's much, much harder for people unless they have very strong abdomen. So you're going to go back to the right leg in the same manner. Now you have no belt. You're not going to even use your hands to hold the big toe because that helps to hold the sides of the foot. That's classical Supta 1. So I'm going to take the leg up, and here's the thing. I got to keep this leg straight, which is tricky, right? And it's like Paripurnavasana. You're going to feel that quadricep much more, and then you begin keeping the leg straight to move the leg, move the leg, move the leg, and then you will see obviously it's abdominal work. All right, so here we go. Much harder to do Supta 1 to keep. So notice first of all how much harder it is to keep the leg straight because you don't have the belt, right, or your hand holding the sides of the foot. And then observe how the abdomen, the sides of the waist move kind of closer to the floor, although we're not trying to eviscerate the natural concavity in the low back. It will feel like that. Yeah, move the inner heels further and further away from each other. Don't let the left thigh fly up. That's why having the foot against the baseboard wall is helpful. Good, Gail. Keep the legs straight. See if you can sustain this for about a minute. You'll keep a little more, at least from my angle, right above the right knee. So the mind wants to wander. Put your hand right above on the thigh and press it back. It's not easy, but it's such a, this is abdominal work. Sense that my hands are moving your inner heels away. Okay, that's probably a minute or over. All right, bend the right knee and same thing other side. All right, so two objectives. One, you've got to keep the left leg straight without the use of your hand or strap. Then you've got to move the leg for and from your abdomen. This is what we do in one-legged dog pose, right? All right, here we go. You got to keep the abdomen strong for stability in your body. And then begin to move the leg smoothly, not in a jerky motion. Remember the triple action of how you straighten the leg. It's helpful. You can put your hand at the crook, the thumb and index finger in that outer left hip. So this is what I call Supta Padangusthasana 1, for and from the abdomen. Good. Keep moving it to your maximum. Good. All right, now we didn't do this on Tuesday. Go back to the first side and you're going to start. You could have a strap nearby. Do the same thing, only then you're going to hold the sides of the foot or the big toe, lift your chest, lift your head, and then you use the hands to take the leg toward you. So that's the final pose, which is an abdominal pose. You can use the belt or your hands. We didn't do this aspect of it Tuesday. So the leg is straight. Then you're going to move it using your core muscles. Then you're going to lift the chest. If anyone's neck bothers them, use a bolster and support the head. And now, Beth, that's beautiful. Take the leg to you. Take it with you. So now you take it with you because now you can hold it. Good, Julia. Leg is straight. Hips are balanced. Side ribs even. Good, Val. Good on that right. Very good. Slightly different on the left. More movement to the right. Okay, and now release. Well done. All right, other side. So, to say that Supta Panagustasana 1 is a hamstring stretch is really, it's diminishing it. It's much more than a hamstring stretch, way beyond. Okay, left side. Now notice if the left side is difficult to straighten, observe that. So go to the max, moving the leg first and from the right. Observe how it's much harder not to have the hands on the strap. Then lift the chest, lift the head, use the strap, and take the leg to you. That's good, Yokiko, with the support. Do this in such a way that doesn't, you're not bulging your eyes out of the eye sockets. Okay, and then release. All right, now similarly, in the manner that we just did the second iteration of Supta 1, we're going to do Supta 2, for and from the abdomen. So this is, I'll show you from a frontal view so you can see it. So going back to the strap, I always decentralize the other leg because it helps a lot to balance the pose side to side. And then I'm holding the strap. I don't know if you can see this on the screen with my right hand, but then I'm using my left hand and I'm starting with the turning of the abdomen. I strongly swipe my abdomen at the navel band from the right to the left as I take the right leg. So I call it an as you. So two actions are happening simultaneously. It's a double action. So as you take the right leg out to the side, you are turning from the right to the left. I find this an easier way to do Supta 2 than take the leg out and then turn, right? So different ways of doing a pose speak differently. Not to say the other is inaccurate or wrong, but since we're focusing on the abdomen today, this is how I'd like you to do it. So right leg comes up, unfold the leg, and then put your left hand pretty much at the right side of the waist and strongly swipe your abdomen. This will help you when you start with the abdominal action. It helps you not falling into that right leg, and it works beautifully. Take the leg, good, out to the side. That's it, Gail. Now remember, keep the arm straight. Remember the turning of the inner upper arm skin like you did in child's pose. If you have the right foot on the wall, even better, because then you can fix the foot's position so that the baby toe side is parallel. Well done. Do decentralize that left leg from the get-go. It really helps to balance. Wonderful. Now take the right leg up. Yeah, so remember, it helps, you don't have to take it so far out of the median line. So now my leg is on the median line. I take it out maybe 2.5 to 3 inches. And then you're going to swipe with the right hand now. Okay. So, we do the same poses in very different ways. And we do them with different focuses. Today we're doing it, yes, keeping the leg straight, but also on the more organic body, feeling in the abdomen. Okay. We could focus on the hips. All right, now take the leg out to the side as you swipe the abdomen from the left to the right. And just enjoy this vast shape, vast spacious shape that Supta Panagustasana 2 is inherently. Beautiful pose for calmness. That's good. These look really good. Excellent. Okay, and now take the leg up. As I said before, the whole cycle is very utilitarian. Now, we didn't do 3 on Tuesday, for those of you who are here. We're going to do Supta Panagustasana 3, or we could call it Ekapada Jetra Parvatasana. We're going to do it with the strap first. So watch. This is the one where you take the right leg back up to 90. I hold it this time with my right hand. The right hip will lift a smidge as I take the right leg to the left. I keep this left leg in its place and reach through my inner right arm. Okay, remember, you have to resist your inner thighs away from each other, especially if anyone has a groin issue. If you get any pain in your inner groin, put a belt in your inner upper thigh, as I've taught many times, and pull to the right. I don't think anyone here has complained about groin pain. All right, so we're going to you're taking the right leg to the left, reaching out through your inner right arm, like revolve triangle. That's it. Good. Turn, turn, turn. So as you take the leg to the right, you're turning now from the left. The abdomen has to turn from the left to the right, from the left to the right. Good. All right, now change sides. Well done. Legs are straight, hips are balanced. Remember, resist the inner thighs away from each other, especially if you have groin pain. You can do that even if you have with your arm. All right, left leg comes up, hold it with the right hand, extend to the inner left arm. That will help you then extending through the inner left arm. It's that Pratipaksha Bhavanam action where you're taking the left leg to the right, but you're resisting through the inner left arm. Helps a great deal. That left hip will lift up. It's true, but the center of the chest is facing parallel to the ceiling. Okay. All right, now take the leg up. Now take your belt. We're moving to the full Jethara. That was Ekapada Jethara, Supta 3, and make a little loop for your belt. We're going to do it two different ways, one with belt, like Supta 1, and one without belt. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So let me just show you from this angle. I think you'll be able to see it best. We haven't done this in a while, it seems. All right, so I'm going to take my right leg, and I have a little loop for the foot. And then I'm putting it around, it's more at the base of the occiput versus on the neck skin. So I get it really up on that occipital ridge. And then just like what you did, I'm taking the right leg to the left. Let me show from this side so you can see. So I've made a small loop, which covers my right foot. I'm pulling, do you see? Now this will help a lot. So the arm action really helps get the right leg to cross over to the left. Notice in taking the right leg to the left, I've maintained the left foot perpendicular, and I'm also showing with the use of my arm, right arm, am I resisting with the inner thighs. If you have a second belt, you could pull to the right, okay? And then we'll do the full pose. So that's it. So you're pulling, you're letting the leg go to the left, pulling with your left arm. It feels good if you can get it on the occipital, on the bone, versus in the neck. All right, and now go. Right leg crossing over. Good. Outer right hip cutting down to the left heel. Yes. Stay on the median line. That's the metrics of the pose. Well done. Okay, now come back. Same thing, left side. So the left leg, take the loop. Keep the right leg in its place. And now the loop, the belt is going around the occipital ridge on the left side and you're pulling. It does help to have a long belt in this one. Sometimes the 6 feet ones feel a little short for this iteration. Move the inner, resist the inner thighs away. This is getting at the oblique muscles. And then I bet you know what we're going to do next. That's good. That pull, 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 pull with right arm, left arm. No, right arm. You're pulling with the right arm. So in a moment, we're going to do the full pose, Jethara, without belt. Good. All right, now come up. All right, now actually, you know what? Let's do it in the same manner. Just take, you're going to take the belt, make it a little bigger. Watch. So I'm taking it, my legs are going to the right, but I think I'm going to do about 6 times. I'm pulling. My belt is short, so you can see my left elbow is bent. So now I'm doing full Jethara, turning my abdomen from the right to the left and aiming my feet up toward my right palm. We'll do it because we're fixed on this side. Let's do 6 times to the right, and then we'll switch, pulling with the
right arm as we go 6 times to the left. I think that will just be easier. Okay, so we'll do 6 to the right, 6 to the left, in the same way you did Ekapada. So you can make the belt to a little bit wider to accommodate 2 feet in it. All right, so now you're taking the belt, right? You're pulling with the left arm, turning the abdomen from the right to the left, aiming the feet up. Legs are straight. The belt will help you keep the legs straight. You'll appreciate the belt when we go without a belt. Do 6 times, keeping the legs straight. Aim high. Good. See if you can get the legs. Yeah. See if you can get the legs not in line with your hips, but higher. And certainly not lower, because if they're lower, it's hard on the back. That's it. So it's a V shape. A V shape. That's it, Gail. A little bit, yeah. Make sure your legs are less than a 90-degree angle with your chest. And then to the left when you're ready, Maribeth, that was good. Good. So this is both hamstring work and abdominal work. To the left when you're ready with the belt. The belt helps you keep the legs straight. You'll appreciate the belt in a minute when we leave the belt to do the full pose. Legs are straight. Now you're aiming to get the feet to hover the left palm. You're turning the abdomen, of course, from the left to the right, which we did in the Ekapada variation. Well done. Okay, now this is where it gets more effortful. You'll take the belt off. Let me just show from, I think this angle is best. You can finish, yeah, go to your finish up, of course. If I'm ahead of you, then take time to finish up. And then those of you who finish, just take 3 pot and rest your back. Finish up, bow and back, no problem. Okay. So this is a nice way. Yeah, Beck, now make sure, even though, you don't want the feet to come onto the palm, but remember, you have to resist, as the legs come to the left, you're turning from the left to the right. Keep more of the right side, Beth, of your waist on the floor. So you don't want to roll completely to the left side. So watch, now we're going to do without the belt. So this is much harder because now we have to incorporate all the things that we learned, keeping the legs straight. I have to stay on the median line, which is challenging for me. So I'm going to shift my pelvis about 1.5 inches to the left. And then without belt, I'm turning my abdomen from the right to the left and take the legs over. Now, you could do 6 times to the right, 6 times to the left. I just prefer to switch a little bit. You can see how I lifted my pelvis up, which is abdominal work in itself, and then aim high, okay? So gesture to the right 6 times, gesture to the left, or alternate. So now you're gonna appreciate the belt because it's harder to keep the legs straight and it might be harder for you to turn. All right, here we go. Remember to get the legs not lower than the hips. Aim to get the legs slightly higher up toward the right hand as you go to the right, toward the left hand. But remember, you have to resist back. Imagine your left side of your waist is pinned down as you go to the right. As you go to the left, pin the right side of your waist down. Remember how we utilize the swiping of the hand. That's it, Beth. Yeah, the shifting is optional. If you lose the front chest, the parallel quality of your chest to the ceiling, then you must shift. But not everyone needs to shift. Keep going. Good, Yukiko. Keep going. Well done. That's it, Gail. On that, yeah, this left side, yeah. Those legs are getting higher and higher. Good, Elaine. Good. The legs, I don't want them to come to the floor. They just hover over that palm. Over that palm. Let's see. Bow. Good. Legs are straight. It's very hard to keep the legs straight in Jetra. Many of you have probably been to classes where we belt the outer shin and the outer thighs. All right, now take the knees into the chest. This will feel good. We're doing Supta Padangusthasana, figure 4, I should say, this one, for your outer hip. Where the shin is parallel to the chest. Remember, no angular shin. Then you have to decentralize. If your shin is angular, see how I bring the knee out, because after this, we're doing the Theta, the standing variety of this. All right, that's it. Get into that outer right hip. Keep turning the inner knee to the outer knee. That's it. Foot can be at wall, that's always an option. So imagine, you know, if you're at your counter, kitchen counter, I don't know how high it is, and your right shin were on the counter height. That's the same stretch, only that iteration is Utthita. Okay, change sides. We're going to do that today because we did it on Tuesday. Yeah, and then Beth, you can lower the right leg so that the shin is running parallel. Good. Or it can be at the wall. Notice the difference in the two sides. Yeah, and you're doing it side to side. So say, for example, this left side is tighter. You will see that the shin wants to become more angular. Make sure the left foot is not crossing over the right knee. Then decentralize. You have to get into that outer left hip. So putting your thumb and index finger there and turning the inner knee to the outer knee, inner upper thigh. All right. All right, let's do this. Come up, and I'm going to show you on the trestle, but I also have a high stool. I'm just pointing this out because some of you may need to take higher height. So watch this. So now I'm doing what I just did, supine. Now there's a tendency for the root of the standing thigh to come forward. So I press it back, and I want to keep the shin parallel to the collarbones. But the leg can't be so high that the right hip lifts up. If you have a tight hip, then the knee would decentralize the knee so it's out to the side, and then finally lift the frontal hip bones up. So I know no one has a trestle, fine, but I wanted to show it there because that's similar to a counter. So you might have a higher surface or use your chair, because I want to see. Yeah, sometimes if you haven't done this, you have to experiment with the heights. We don't want too low, it won't do anything, but we don't want too high either because the buttocks will ascend. So here's a chair, and I'm putting 2 bolsters. This is probably as low as anyone needs, but you could do, Mary Beth, that's right, on the backrest. So say I'm here, this is a possibility. This is a little bit low for me, so I maybe decide to go with the turn the chair around, just giving possibilities. Turn the chair around, and you might need a different height on each side, okay? You can put a blanket, I'm just not for expediting it here. So that's what Mary Beth, and you have the blanket there. All right, remember, get close to your apparatus. So Gail, I think you have to walk in if you can, just a little bit. Yeah, so the heel is not behind the buttock. Put your hand in the root of the thigh, press it down. Remember, the shin should be parallel to your chest. Valerie, you could also, I think, step in a little bit. It looks a little high, Val. The angle of the knee looks high. Yukiko, you could go a little higher, put another blanket. Mary Beth, I'm going to spotlight you because from my vantage point, you have a really good setup. You know, and take time for your own setups. I don't want to rush anyone, but remember the buttock flesh should move down. I'm going to spotlight Mary Beth. Hold on, because I want you to see the shape of this. Okay, I'm spotlighting Mary Beth. So she's using a chair, but I also want you to see how her heel of her standing leg is in line with her buttock. This is what we see a lot. The foot is too far back. That's good, Mary Beth. You can lift the arms up, pull it, yeah, because that helps you lift the frontal hip bones up. Right? So she has the backrest with a blanket. Yukiko, I think you could have gone a little bit higher. Thanks, Mary Beth. Okay. So experiment in your own time with this, everyone, because you might find, say on your left side, let's just say your left side is harder than your right. In your case, Elaine, mine as well. You might need less height. All right, so now I'm back on the screen and looking. All right, let me see back here. Yeah, yeah, this, if it's swivel chair, it can be tricky. Yeah, Nancy used to have a drawer that she put her leg in the drawer, and that worked beautifully. Beth, that's good. Now everyone, root of the standing thigh back. That heel should not be behind that buttock. And then cut the hips down, particularly the left hip, if the left hip is up. That's it, left hip down. And then side ribs up. You can take the arms overhead, reach up. That helps to lift the frontal hip bones up. Okay, these look good. And try your kid. A lot of people have told me over the past years that the kitchen counter works because it's a much wider surface than the backrest of the chair. It feels a little bit precarious, that backrest. Okay, so that's Utthita. When I say Utthita, that means standing. Now do a quick, if you can, if you need to have the wall, do Utthita Bekasana to open up those groins. No one has knee issues, so you don't need to place the kneecap. Pull up, remember you have to abduct, yeah, get the knees to be in line. So this one, Gail, Utthita Bekasana for the thighs, for the groins, I should say. That's good, Val. Those of you can hold the foot with both hands. Yes, good, Val. So you're getting into the shoulder blades as well. See if you can get that, Julia, that knee further back so it's aligned. That's it. Now everybody, strong pull up through the frontal hip bones again. Change sides when you're ready. So again, it's like an Ekapada Supta Virasana, that pose. It's a very utilitarian pose, Utthita Bekasana. You could do it prone, but it's much harder on the knees. We did it on Tuesday, if you recall. Okay, now we're completely prepared for a Virabhadrasana 1 with back left heel at wall. So what I'm hoping to get in Virabhadrasana 1 is a straight back leg. I'm focusing on that back leg. So when you come into Warrior 1, and this is how we'll do it, you'll have your left heel at the wall, turn the right leg out, and then again, as Mary Beth showed, we took our arms up to lift the frontal hip bones off the pelvis, which is a healthy action for the hips. But I want you to focus on, don't let, and this is often what happens, the back leg bends. You see, that inner knee collapsed. So I have to press the outer heel into the wall firmly, feel the wall, keep lifting up, and then go down. You can go down with movement first, as we've done many times, and then stay for 30 seconds. All right, so establish your back leg. That's the main event. And if you want to, put the left hand on your inner thigh and turn the inner left thigh from the inside out to bring the left frontal hip bone around. Now push the heel into the wall, take the arms up, sit down a few times, and then stay for 30 seconds. Gail, you can go a little wider, I think, just inch out with the right foot. Keep the back leg straight. Remember all that work that we did with the supine leg stretches. Good, Elaine. Use your arms strongly. Imagine a belt around your back thigh, turning the belt, and then you could even hold it with the strap up. That's a way of doing it with a belt. And now inhale, come up. Well done. Other side. Keep the back leg straight. Because when we do one-legged dog pose, an aerial leg will be up in the air and you don't have it on the wall. Okay, so back, right heel to the wall. Take a wide stance so you have at least half a chance of forming the square. Now, back leg straight, heel into wall. Use your arms strongly. Lift the pelvis off the femur heads and now sit down. Good, Mary Beth, you got it. That's it. Good. Yes, go down. You can work with movement. You don't have to work with movement, but for some people it helps a lot. Keep the back leg straight. Don't let that knee even marginally bend. Good. And now come up, Julia, stay with it. If you're still going down, pause there. So the movement helps to descend the front leg. And then you want to hit it maybe 15 seconds to 30 seconds. All right, now let's do modified warrior 3 here instead of one-legged dog. I'll put that somewhere else. So now that you have that impression of the heel into the wall, I want you to use that in modified warrior 3. But, you know, for beginners, we say to beginners, lift the root of the thigh up because they have to work from big parts and outer parts. But for you guys, and with this lesson, I want you to lift from the core, from a more internal organic part. So with that said, when you come forward, the blocks will be on the high side, hands will be on the blocks, feet together. I want you to lift from the core. So yes, you're lifting the leg from the root of the thigh, but sense the abdomen is lifting up toward the ceiling as you raise the right leg up. So the mover of the right leg is your core, just like the mover of the leg in Supta 1 was your core. So just putting together the parts. Lift your leg from, good, that's it, Gail, so that you end up with a shape. That's the, so I think, Beth, for you, your blocks could be, let's see, a little bit, take it higher. I just want to see if your abdomen, so it doesn't fall on the floor. That might be too high. That's too high. Medium is better. I think we looked at this Tuesday. Val, let's see, lift the leg. Watch the tendency to move to the toe side. We want to keep the, yeah, Val, I think the block, bring the blocks closer to the foot because it's causing you to shift the weight. Julia, when you're ready, good. Stay there. You're able to hold, good, that. You can hold it because your arms are down. It's hard to hold warrior 3 when the arms are reaching. We'll do that down the road. Okay, well done. Descend the right leg, raise the arms up, take the arms down, find your core, your abdominal muscles. Be firm on your right leg. How? By drawing up from the knee to the hip and now lift from the abdomen. Yes, you're lifting the leg from the leg, but I want you to feel it more from the organic part. Okay, these look really good. Now remember, if the foot is flexed, it's easier, the back foot, say, is flexed, it's easier to open that back left knee, but the quad becomes hard. So keep the foot flexed to open the back left knee, but then extend the foot so it ends up in that Virasana foot and make that quadricep muscle, that skin, hug the bone. It's different. Okay? All right. And then come down. All right, let me just explore this foot position because this has helped me a lot in this pose, especially staying in it. So I'm going to show you from behind. All right, so we'll just repeat it one more time. Not a big deal. All right, so when I flex the foot, it helps me not bend the leg. Sometimes when the foot is in that Virasana shape, the knee bends. So I'm flexing the foot. So I'm pulling the toes down and I'm opening the back of the knee. And then I extend through the arch and I'll feel the skin of that quadricep muscle hug the bone. Okay, so just let's repeat modified warrior 3 and do it for and from the foot, which will help you keep the leg straight. All right, lift the right leg up from the abdomen. Now, flex the foot. So that's in dorsiflexion. Feel how the knee lifts into the knee into knee. Now keep the knee into the knee and extend through the arch because that's the final foot position. It's not flexed. Descend the right, well done. And then left leg. So we're ending up in the classical foot position, but we're getting there. That's it, Julia. Flex the foot to open the back of the knee and then extend through the arch. Good. All the time lifting from the abdomen. Well done. Okay, and now you're going to do Urdhva Mukha. I'm going to give you an option. You can use the blocks or not. You can come into upward facing dog from downward facing dog, or don't if you're not doing downward facing dog. Come into it from a prone position, which requires more upper body strength. So you're going to go here and then come onto the tops of the feet to Urdhva Mukha. All right, 3 times in that way. If you don't want to do it through dog pose, you can start prone, Elaine. Yeah. All right. Do 3 Urdhva Mukha Svanasans. That's good, Julia, yeah, take it that way. Pull up through those inner arms. If you have restriction in your shoulders, turn the palms out and use blocks. Both. Turn the, that's it, Val. Turn the, yeah, the block, that's it. Blocks are symmetrical. Turn the palms out, not the blocks out. Okay, that's good. Pull up through those inner wrists. All right. Establish the arms for Vashisthasana 1, meaning you have to have a strong, energetic lift through your inner arms. Elaine, you can take it from just a sideline. All right, now those that stay in dog pose with your hands on blocks or not, come into Vashisthasana 1 to the right, seal the right palm, pull up strongly through your right inner arm, stack or stagger the feet, and take Vashisthasana 1 to the right. Well done. And now to the left. Julia, it's good that you're taking the rest now, because Vashisthasana is a energetic palm. So press the palm down. Those of you who've never tried it with blocks is a wonderful thing, because you feel more of the lift when the arm is longer through the blocks. If you've never tried it, okay, just take a child's pose. For those of you who have never done it with the blocks, try it with the blocks, because you feel that energetic lift. All right, here we go. One more time. I'm not keeping you long. A quick Vashisthasana to the right, and then it's over, and a quick Vashisthasana to the left. You're getting in a beautiful arm balance. That's it. Yes. And down you come. Well done. Okay, now everyone on your back, you can take 2 blocks nearby. So on Tuesday, this is different. Doing different things today. As promised, we did Urdhva Prasarita Padasana earlier on in class. So we're going to touch that, and then I'm going to show something else. So watch. If you remember, those of you who were here on Tuesday, but even if you weren't, we've done it like this before. I had you take your legs to 90, put a block between your thighs, not between your knees. Those who could, palm the brick and stretch the arms overhead, right? So this is the classic pose, which works on abdomen drawing back toward the floor, sides of the waist moving down, and I'm reaching through my fingertips. So I'm not hugging I'm not doing this to the brick. I'm palming the brick and reaching through the fingertips. Bye, Julia. All right, so I'd like you to come into UPP in that manner, if that's possible. Bye, Julia. Where did Val go? Val, okay. Oh, Val, you walked away. We're doing our Vashisthasana. You did it with the blocks, right? Okay. So now UPP with block. So what does the block do? It helps keep the legs straight. More importantly, you can access and feel the abdomen. Now, Gail, just take the legs a little closer to the chest. Legs are straight. Use the block. Now, Yukiko, for you, take the legs a little bit away from the chest, because now they're slightly beyond 90. Now, you can work with the different foot positions. So, Beth, your foot position is the classical one, the way we ended Warrior 3. The toes are higher than the heels. Some of you might want to start with the dorsiflexion, Elaine, the same way, because you can open the backs of the knees, but then extend through the arch to the heel. So, work with the foot positions, especially if your legs are bending. Work with the dorsiflexion. The brick is not making it harder. It actually makes it easier. It is harder to extend the arms overhead. And if you're not doing that, certainly if you have a shoulder issue, then hold the sides of the mat. Okay, beautiful. Now, one of the things I want to do is link this Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, that's the name of the pose, UPP, I call it, with high plank. But before we do that, let's do this. So this is where it's a little bit of fun here. We haven't done this in a very long time. I don't think we've ever done this on Zoom. So watch. I'm going to hold the sides of my mat. All right. And I'm going to go to UPP, and then I'm going to pike up, pike up, pike up. It's not shoulder balance. It doesn't even nearly look like shoulder balance. So the legs will come a little bit closer to me, like Supta Padangusthasana 1, but you using a lot of abdominal muscles, right? Not so much the obliques, but the abdominis rectus. I pike up, all right? The shoulder blades will remain on the floor, all right? Now, don't let the shoulders go up to the ears. That's why I'm keeping the arms down by the side. Pike up, that's it, Beth, and go. Let's see, Elaine, pike up. It's an up and down. Legs will come forward, pike up, pike up. Sense that your feet are gonna touch the ceiling. That's it, Yukiko, that's good height, but you're not coming into halasana. Very good, Yukiko, go back and forth. It's a lot of abdominal work. It's not easy. It's similar to Niralamba. I would, those of you who have neck issue, I wouldn't, well, the arms are down by the side, but try to relax your throat here. Don't hold tension. Okay, now go back to UPP, establish that geometry. Legs are straight, arms overhead, palm the brick. Let Yukiko watch the legs because now they go, if you need the brick, fine, Elaine, 90 degrees. See, many of you are beyond 90 based on the pike. That's okay. That's it, good. Now that's excellent. All right, good, good, good. Now, here, getting ready to do your high plank, I want you to feel the sides of the waist moving down to the floor, the abdomen moving away from the ceiling. Okay, so with that said, now you're ready to do your high plank. Yeah, you have to go, okay, yeah. All right, watch. So now, I remember Warrior 3 modified. I remember that Urdhva Prasarita you were just in. I also remember the work that you did in the piking. And then I'm going to look at myself. So you all have, you all appear on the screen. So I would urge yourself, even though you have to turn your head. So you're going to establish that Vashisthasana action, spreading the palms, pressing the heel of the hand down, lifting up through the inner arms, and then lifting the abdomen away from the floor. So you're not here, nor are you here. Oh, it hurts your back. The abdomen in the same way you did that modified Warrior 3, right? The abdomen lifting away from the floor when you took one leg up. All right, so can we do high plank? The feet can be decentralized. I have no problem. If those of you want to take your feet to the outer edges of the mat, be my guest. These look good. Oh, good. Everyone, yes, sides of the waist cutting up now. Remember how the sides of the waist cut down to the floor? Now they're cutting up. That's good. Hands directly underneath the shoulders, shoulder blades flat on the back. Okay, these are very good. It all would get it, usually if you teach this pose to a class, you can imagine the shakes you get. All right, let's do, I think we can clearly go on to the one-legged high plank, which is a moving along. All right, so now let me just show this quickly. You would imagine that this is what you'd get at this point. So now it becomes harder because I have to lift a leg up like in Warrior 3. So I'm here and then I lift it. It's not like, I don't want you to go to a one-legged dog pose. I want you to stay in high plank, simply lift the leg up. Okay, that's all. Let's see. All right, go to high plank, get the energetic lift through the inner arms, spread the palms, and lift one leg, just so that it's parallel to the floor, not higher than the hip. Mary Beth, you can go lower in the leg. Keep the leg straight though, and then descend that leg, little lower in the leg. Gail, that was good at Yukiko. But now, see, Yukiko, now the hips are going to more of a dog pose. You lift the hips up. See if you can drop the hips, Yukiko, just for you. Yeah, even more, right there. Yeah, don't disturb the hips. So see if you can keep everything in its place. Turn the inner upper arms from the inside out. Go do another round so I get to see everyone. Hips in their place. Achala, Yukiko, now you have it. Change sides. Well done. Change sides. Okay, come down. All right, now we're doing a fist position. How are we doing for time? Is anyone exhausted? No, Elaine is. Okay, well, we don't have much left, but a little bit. All right, so you're going to make fists. Let me just show this frontally. And you're bringing the forearms to the floor, the forearms, these guys. Now, because you don't have full access to the arm, which is, you know, the as you did in high plank, much harder, okay? And you have to turn that skin, especially if you are prone to any kind of rotator cuff issue. So I'll show this in profile now, watch. So I'm making fists, and then I'm turning the skin. You could turn the palms out, but I'm going to start with the fist, and then I'm going up to, now I'm kind of like, I'll call this a low plank because I'm now on my forearms. All right. Now, if this is too difficult, interlace the hands firm at the webbing and do this shape for the arms versus this shape. It's a little bit easier. All right. Low plank your Kiko. Bringing the forearms and fists, 2 fists. All right, that's it, Elaine. The same shape where so remember, good Mary, the same shape as warrior 3. Drop the hips, your Kiko, Gail, a little drop of the hips. Look at even more, your Kiko, drop those hips. Look at yourself, your Kiko, from the side view in the screen, my friend. You'll see the hips are higher than the shoulder blades. Val, drop the hips about 1/4 inch. Yes. Lift your abdomen more, Beth, and lift your shoulders away from the floor. Good, Mary Beth. That's it. Elaine, excellent. Okay, come down. So the low plank is harder. The low plank is harder. Okay, now if that was not challenging, Elaine, it looked like it wasn't that challenging for you, even though I know you're tired. Do forearm. Forearm, meaning palms are flat, but of course you have to turn that skin. Otherwise, go back to fists or webbing. Low plank. Low plank. That's it. That's good, Mary Beth. Look at yourself. Tuck the toes under. Abdomen lifting. Good. Drop the hips a little bit, Gail. Drop the hips. Okay, Elaine, that's good. The shoulders are in line with the elbows. Yukiko, now you have it. These look good. All right. Now come out. And now let's see if we can do whatever you just did. You know what I'm going to say. Lift one leg. Right? The other thing is, if it hurts anyone's arm, look, take a dowel, a broomstick, or take this. Just take a strap. Do this. I'll show it this way. Watch. Do this. A dowel works really good, or a broomstick. And do it this way. And then lift one leg. All right? All right, let's try it. Mary Beth, this is good work for pinch up. All right, up, that's it, Gail. Don't, in lifting the leg, yes, don't lift the hips. Remember, maintain your body, good Elaine. Leg not too high, in line with the, yes. Change sides, well done. Beautiful. Okay, now, I'm not gonna end here. Those who can, Mary Beth, Julia left, do full arm balance. Gail and others do half handstand. Right? And if you're exhausted, go back to a plank. All right? And then we'll just conclude with something else. Okay, so Yukiko, you're full arm balance, Val, full arm balance, Mary Beth, full arm balance, Gail, you're doing the half. I think dog pose, Beth, for you because of shoulder, it's too much on the shoulders, or stay with your planks. Elaine, plank. All right, when you're ready, resist the upper back, bend one, kick one. That's it, Val, up you go. Remember, those of you in full arm balance, half, or everyone, pull up through those inner arms. That's the work. Make those arms steady, unshakable. Okay, and then mindfully come out. Those of you in full arm balance, you can kick up with the other leg unless you're tired. Those of you who walked up, Gail, walk up taking the other leg first, and the plank people can just rest for a moment. Okay. All right, so we're just going to do the prep for an arm balance, and we'll probably do the arm balance next week because I don't want to end on an arm balance. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to come on your back, and everyone will do this. So we're going to go back to where the shin is perpendicular to the floor. I'm holding the foot with 2 hands or 1 hand. If your arms are short, use a belt, and I'm pumping the knee into the armpit. And I'm keeping the side walls of the right side of my chest in close proximity to my right inner thigh. Okay, you can see it from here, even better. All right, so pump the leg. Keep the left leg bent, it's easier. Because if the leg is straight, Mary Beth, then it'll be it's hard to get the knee into the armpit. That's it, Gail. Just pump, pump, pump. Pump, pump, pump. Good. That's it, Beth. Keep the other leg bent. It'll be a little bit easier and more lubrication in the hips. So this is, I'll touch the, I won't teach it today, but with this is the preparation for a pose called Ekahasta Bhujasana. Good. And then change sides. Ekahasta. Remember, keep the inner left thigh right up against the left side of the chest. Pump the knee, pump the leg so that the left knee is falling into that left armpit. Well done. Well done indeed. Okay, now we'll plant the seeds for Ekahasta down the road. A quick supine flat Baddha Konasana. This will feel good on your inner thighs. And just rest there. Well done. You will probably, because we did a lot of internal rotation, you will feel the inner thighs probably a little bit at first in this one, but that will subside. If you need blankets at the back, outer thighs, take it. And those who can bring hold the outer ankles, outer shins, draw the heels a little closer to the pubic plate and widen the thighs away. Remember not to sleep on the spine. Those of you with long arms, you can hook the arms behind the chest, pull the heels in, and then release the arms from behind the back. That helps you come onto your shoulder blades. Bring the shoulder blades, come onto the shoulders in that way. Good. So in a moment with Shavasana, I'll give you some choices. And so all of you have a chair. You can do the lower legs on the seat of the chair, or you can come back to the Shavasana that we did, the first one, on the vertical support for the organic body with the shroud of the blanket. All right, so it's up to you, but whatever you feel is if that blanket Shavasana as a little shroud and pulling the skin down was helpful, or you can do, Gail, with the chairs on the lower leg. So giving you a nice Shavasana because you worked hard and it's important to rest. Usually we don't do a prone Shavasana after abdominal work, but the bent leg works really well. That's good, Mary Beth. Yeah. Those of you who are prone to a very, what I call an active mind, a lot of thoughts, the blanket really helps on the forehead skin. And remember to spread the skin and then pull down slightly, not a sharp pull, but release the skin from the scalp where the forehead scalp meet all the way to the cheekbones. So the eyes feel like they're looking inward. Just relax. See if you can use the breath now to move you into a quieter and deeper state of relaxation. Feeling the movement of the breath wherever you feel it, in the nostrils, in the abdomen, the chest. Stay with the feeling of the breath. Use the breath now, the feeling of the breath to calm the body, to calm the mind. And if it's helpful, you can also use the gata, as it's called. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I calm my body. Breathing in, I calm my mind. Breathing out, I calm my mind. Or you could simply go, breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I calm my mind. Sometimes the employment of a gata really keeps one on task. To have the arms out to the sides a little bit so that breath and chest feel full and alive, the abdomen can pacify, the eyes can spread, the throat can relax deeply. At any point in time, you want to sit upright, that's fine. Otherwise, just stay in Shavasana. So in a moment, I will stop the recording. You don't have to come out of your seated posture or your lying down posture. Or you want to start with the end of the recording.